Good morning. Good morning. It's the Niner Coffee Talk. I'm still trying to work out my own title to my show. I get caught up. Maybe it's the tongue in my mouth. I don't know. But David, thank you for coming this morning. I hope you got a nice cup of coffee. It might be a little early for everybody. So as everybody starts to pipe in and pop up, we'll start getting a little bit more involved. But um, first off, how you doing? We had a pretty good show last night.
Yeah, it was fun. I kind of think we missed out on not talking about a couple things like, Bigfoot and
Yeah,
the skulls. Yeah. But
Yeah, I think there's some interesting topics out there that, like when we're not necessarily talking about sports or we're not talking about certain things, we could maybe veer to them, especially when we got like that cool overlay with the world in the background and stuff. So, um, you know, sometimes it's fun to talk. Maybe we should start having like a conspiracy theory moment, or segment, where we can say, hey, did you hear about that? And you're like, what? So definitely fun. Like that one time we were talking about all the noodles that just randomly appeared, in the field or whatnot. It's like somebody made a bunch of noodles, pasta noodles, and they dumped them. Something happened. So,
yep, yep.
um, so shout out to Weird News and good morning to everybody in the chat. We have allegedly Stevo. He came in earlier. I had a picture. I don't know if you got to see the thumbnail earlier, but the thumbnail had a Jimmy Garoppolo shirt, and I had just went to the thrift store the other day, and I seen it hanging up. So I thought that was really funny. Like he's off the team and he's already in the thrift store, and I know he's been in the thrift store before. It seems like every time somebody gets hurt, that jersey pops up in a thrift store. So um, I don't know, David. What's your thoughts on going to thrift stores? Because I love them.
I have no issue going to thrift stores because I mean a lot of times it's like, I'll go looking for a tool or something I'm going to use like a couple times and then it literally ends up back in the store. It's like, what's the point of going and buying this new? I'm only going to use it once. Or sometimes I'll go looking for old stuff that you just can't find anymore too. You
Yeah,
know. Yep.
yeah. One thing that's really fun to find is like the chocolate floats for like weddings and stuff like that. People they'll buy them one time and then they get rid of them, and don't go buy that kind of stuff brand new. Go check it out in the thrift store. Make sure all the parts are there, clean it up, and most of the time it's clean already, but definitely rewash it and clean all that up. Hey, we got a pop in chat right now. I'm scrolling through everything. We got first off, Tony and Platform, Willie Rodriguez, Bebop, Crazy Juice. We got Damian Lee, and we got a wolf sighting. Let's go.
Yeah,
Thanks,
buddy.
thanks for showing up. And we got Jeff in the house. What's up, Jeff? So yeah, when I was a little kid, I was going through a thrift store with my parents, and I seen a Michael Jordan jersey, and I think it was like maybe in '98 or something like that, and it was the black one with the red lettering, and I was like, wow. So I went around the corner to tell my mom and dad, hey, can we get this? And they like smiled at me, so I was like, all right, I got the okay, right? So I go back around the corner, it was gone. It was gone that quick. I was like, okay, so I never got a Michael Jordan jersey. That's all right, but it wasn't meant to be. But I like going to thrift stores and finding stuff because like sometimes when teams are losing, or sometimes when they're winning too, you find really cool deals and stuff. I like going to the flea market because I find more of my vintage stuff, and yeah, it's just really cool. Did I ever show you my pack of gum, David?
Hmm.
All right, we got to break it down. All right, sorry, folks. I should have been better prepared, but this is one of the best Christmas gifts I ever got. All right, first off, I got the lunchbox, right? So, my dad bought me a Christmas present one year, and I opened it up, and it was socks. And I'm like, okay, well, most of the time you get socks for Christmas. That's not the most sexiest gift, but it's appreciative, right? Especially if you get like slippers or something else, or new PJs or something, right? Well, I got a pair of socks. And then later on through Christmas, we didn't have a big Christmas, but later on, I'm like not moping around because I didn't get a big Christmas or anything, but my dad hands me a box and I open it up. And that was kind of hard to see, but this is a pack of chewing gum.
Wow.
And it's not opened. I'm not opening it. It's got the NFL logo on it. It's really cool. So
Dang.
one year I got Christmas socks and chewing gum. And I've had this pack of chewing gum for like 20 years now. So yeah, when I get an opportunity to see something really cool like vintage or something like that, I pick it up. Um, got the thermos, you know. And this one's my saddest thing. I got to fix it. I'm so sorry. It's not a show and tell episode, but I really feel bad for Joe here. I got a little ornament of Joe. I got to get his leg glued back on. So sorry. That's one of my honeydew lists I got to get to. But
Well, now that's kind of like what we have going on these days on the team. We have so many injured players, so it's like,
it kind of feels like it's placed for right now. But yeah, so that's some of the cool things. Like I've been able to find like really cool Stein glasses and stuff at the flea market or thrift stores and stuff. And it is funny when the team's losing, we seem to be able to get a better deal on the merchandise. But when they're winning, everybody wants $1 million for it. So shout out to the 2004 to 2009 years. I bought a lot of stuff. So how are you doing this morning, David? I got a couple of good topics for us, but yeah, I mean, you're in Utah, so how's the weather there?
right now it's nice, but it's supposed to start getting warm this afternoon. So I got to get over there. I told you I have to go touch up the door here shortly.
Yeah.
Get over there and get that done before it gets too warm because I need the paint to blend in.
Yeah.
But yeah, my day. That's pretty much my day at this point. Hop on with you, go do that. See what else comes up.
Awesome. Yeah, California right now is getting a little warmer. Lily's actually going to get to go to a pool party today, so she's going to be leaving here shortly to do that. And, have a good time. So, all right, let's get into the meat and potatoes of the episode. First off, again, thank you, everyone, for coming. And we really appreciate you. So today we're going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to go over the ownership of the 49ers. Yes, the ownership of the 49ers. Let's drop this real quick. And oh, no worries. You eat breakfast, drink a cup of coffee. We appreciate you being here. This is one of their shows. Again, we just kind of want you to sit back and listen. And if you get a couple of jokes and you hear them, or you want to put them in the comments, or if you hear a funny joke from me or David, that's what it's about. We're just having a good morning 49er conversation. Glad you're here. So again, we're going to get into the ownership. The ownership's been one of those things. The 49ers were a team that was established in 1946. But the thought of the 49ers coming to the Bay Area was always there. And not always there, but there's always been like, hey, all these teams are here in the East Coast. Why can't we get a West Coast team? So I believe the first team, and I could be wrong, I believe the first team in California was the Los Angeles Buccaneers. And they never played in Los Angeles because all the teams are East Coast teams. So I think they set up camp in, I want to say, Chicago, and they played closer to Chicago, and that's how they were able to keep a franchise around. Now we know the Los Angeles Buccaneers aren't around anymore. A lot of teams have folded. So that's what's interesting too. And I'd like to do that here with you, David, is break down the NFL teams, the ones that's been here, the ones that's folded, and maybe not as long of the NFL film clip, but something similar to that. So there was an owner, there was a guy, and he owned, let me pull up his picture right now. He has a name. His name's not the guy, but he is the guy. This is Tony Morabito, and I'm bad with names, really bad with names. But what makes him really great is this is the guy who wanted to make a team come to San Francisco. He had the idea. He's like, hey, we can get the 49ers over here. If there's a will, there's a way. But he had a lot of setbacks. He had a lot of people like holding him back because, again, the league was over there on the East Coast. So because, this is the 40s, how are we going to be able to travel? How are we going to be able to get to, team to team and actually be able to compete legitimately? So he had a great idea, and it came down to flying. So he started thinking, well, if we could start flying more often, then we could probably get around we could probably get around and have a league, a competitive league. So air travel would make coast-to-coast NFL rivalries feasible. In 1944, after several years of expansion applications being rejected by the NFL, Marabito led a visit to the NFL Chicago. His meeting was presided by Elmer Layden. Elmer Fudge basically decided this, right? No, Elmer Layden, the NFL commissioner and one of the legendary Four Horsemen of Notre Dame. So he was dismissive of Morabito's quest. Following that meeting, Morabito and his partners walked across the street to see Arch Ward, the sports editor of the Chicago Tribune, who was trying to organize a rival league, the All-American Football Conference, the AAFC, on June 6, 1944. So today is June 3rd. Today's June 3rd. So 3 more days from now, this is happening in 1944. The first meeting of the AAFC was held in St. Louis. Marabito agreed to form a franchise in San Francisco with the AAFC to start play after the end of the war. So there it is. We got a league. We got into the league. That's how it happened. So this guy, what's really interesting about him is, it's a small world, right? Everything's small. David, would you guess where he went to college at?
Stanford. I'm just guessing.
That's a really good guess. And I just when I read this, I thought this was just super funny. So I'm gonna put it down here. He was so from 1920 October. I'm gonna read it real quick. Anthony James Morabito, January 12th, 1910, that's his birthday, to October 27th, 1957, was the founder of San Francisco 49ers following his graduation from the University of Santa Clara. Where do we have our stadium now at?
Yeah, this is true. I mean, he went to the college that's close to where we're at right now. I mean, yeah, that's interesting.
That's really interesting. So, really quick, I'm going to read this, and then Corey, he had a moderately successful lumbering hauling business in San Francisco, California during the late 1930s and early 1940s. So this is Marabito, and this is how the ownership was founded. It was through the lumber company. This is how the Niners came. So let me bring in Corey real quick. Good morning, Corey.
Good morning. How you doing?
Great.
Good morning.
What's up, Corey? Of course, I got my nice cup. Shout out to Tony Colt.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Awesome. I appreciate everyone too. And if you guys in the chat don't have a coffee cup, you can reach out to me or Tony if you need a design or something, or you need something fancy. Just hit us up and we'll talk from there. But thank you all for coming. And Corey, if you haven't seen, we are talking about the owners of the 49ers, all of them. So it started with our guy right here. I'm going to bring him back up. I like calling him our guy because this is the guy. Tony Marabito. And if I'm pronouncing it wrong, and you guys can pronounce it better than me, just let me know. But I think it's Tony Morabito. Marabito. I could be wrong. Could totally be wrong. All right. So what we were talking about, Corey, is how he came to own the 49ers and start the 49ers. So with a group of partners in the lumber company, they all bought stock into this company, and we had a team. We had a team in 1946, and it took a couple years to get everything started. He started trying to get the ball moving in 1944, but it didn't happen until not everything got put together until 1946. So Tony, his brother Victor P. Morabito, and his partners in the lumber terminals of San Francisco, Alan E. Sorrell and Ernest J. Turrell, became the founding owners of the soon-to-be San Francisco 49ers. Al Rufo did the legal work while serving as the assistant coach to head coach Loren T. Buckshaw, the University of Santa Clara's famous Silver Fox. So there's 2 now references to Santa Clara. We got the Santa Clara coach and our owner, founder, went to Santa Clara. So full circle. I'm getting some chills now. Maybe it's meant to be. I don't know. So this is something that's super, super interesting to me. Like I like numbers, and you guys kind of know I like numbers. So my birthday is August 24th. Check this out. The 49ers played their first game on August 24th, 1946, a 17-7 exhibition game win over the Los Angeles Dons at Balboa Park in San Diego. So I'm like, whoa, now I'm getting the goosebumps because it's like, on my birthday and we won. So yes, it was an exposition game. That's maybe that's why I have the love for the preseason games I do. But I love the preseason games. You get out there, you get to whack somebody, hit somebody, and next thing you know, you're ready for the game next week, and that game counts. So whatever you did, you get the jitters out of the way, and now you're ready to start. So shout out to the Niners. Congratulations on getting your first win against the LA Dons. We're always beating LA.
Well, the thing is, there's a certain Rams guy, and shout out to Rudy. He's not a bad dude, but he always gives us crap for our mob boss owner. But the team in LA used to be called the Dons. That's interesting.
Yeah. I think this is going to be a fun show we can go back to and like write down the different teams that's been out there, and they were only a team for maybe a couple seasons or whatever, but they're no longer here. So remember, when you say LA Rams, they're not from LA. They're from Cleveland. Remember that. Shout out to Cleveland. All right, so the next thing that I thought was cool is because if we're going to talk about their first exhibition game, we should probably talk about their first game, right? So the first 49er game was played at Kezar Stadium on September 1st, 1946, a 34-14 exhibition win over Chicago Rockets in front of 45,000 fans. So that was an exhibition game. Sorry, but that was their first game in San Francisco. So, what are you guys' thoughts so far about Tony? Let's bring him back up here. And, it kind of, to me, I think he's like it takes a lot to say, I want to start something and get people behind you, and say, this is exactly what I want to do. And sometimes you might have a great idea, but it takes a long time for people to either support it or to say, hey, this, let's go with this. Right. So what do you guys think? I mean, like, honestly, with somebody like Tony Morabito, if somebody came to you today and said, Corey, I want you to help me start a women's basketball league, or how about a women's football league? I mean, really, what are your thoughts other than money being maybe an option, or, a factor into the decision? What kind of decision would you jump into like that? Because this guy took his coworkers and they went together and they formed the 49ers.
That's great. Yeah. Let me see. See, I don't even know this guy. I didn't even know this, so something new.
Yeah, he's our original owner and founder. Yep. Tony Morabito.
Morabito. Yes.
I wonder what kind of owner was he? Was he a hands-on owner?
What I've read is he's kind of a controversial owner because he pushed for things to happen, somewhat like Al Davis, because he was aggressive in certain ways, but the players loved him and the fans loved him. So I imagine because he treated the fans and the players right because he wanted to build something great.
Yeah.
What would you do, David, if somebody came up to you like currently right now and said, hey, I want to start like a Colorado soccer team, a soccer league, indoor soccer league or something wild like that, like kind of like what's going on with Tony here, like football's not on the West Coast, football's on East Coast. And how are we going to even get over there? There's the Rocky Mountains. It's 1940. You talking about planes? So, like something crazy like that, like today would happen. Would you be interested in jumping into an organization, like a big ownership like this? Or would you, I mean, like sometimes it's a big risk and gamble again. You go into buying a company or building a company with friends and they pull out on you. You're either left paying for the tab or you're pulling out as well. A lot of leagues and businesses don't last their first year. So what are your thoughts, David?
It is a big risk starting a team that's, far away from where all the other teams are. But at the same time, California had a population and he knew that they needed something. They
Mm-hmm.
just need something to root for. So and it was, World War II at this point. So he was just thinking, right after the war, we need something to root for. And if you think about it, that's cutting edge. That's like that's thinking ahead of all the other owners when it comes to flying to get to the other teams. Because that's how they do it these days. Except for when we go to Levi's Inglewood, we probably just hop on a bus and cruise on up or cruise on down.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's thinking forward. That's forward thinking right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because again, he made the league maybe smaller, or the world smaller by saying we can jump on a plane and we can make it there, and we might have a little jet lag, but we're going to show you guys we're going to get off the plane, we're going to be ready to play football. So shout out to Tony. Okay, so we're going to move on to our next little moment. This is sad. This is super sad. So the 49ers owner, he was basically the main guy after 1946. A lot of his partners pulled out, basically like what we were just talking about. And he continued on. He continued on his dream. And, sometimes, things happen in life and you can't control things. So it happened. He died. He died at the 49er game. Yeah. Yeah, our beloved founder, owner passed away during a game. And I mean, like, yeah. So the Niners were playing the game and we were losing at the time. And we ended up rallying back to win the game. We won the game. So, that shows a lot of grit and stuff for the team, and showing their heart for them. It really does. And, like, I don't know. I mean, like, everybody's time comes and goes, but he was at the game and he passed away. And, at least hopefully he was doing something that he loved, and we were playing, I believe we were playing the Chicago, I believe we were playing the Chicago Bears when it happened. And it just really, really sucks. But during this time, there was a transition of ownership, and his wife and another one of the owners, co-founders' wives were able to help steer the team in the right direction. And we had a tough time there, but the Niners still started to find success. When you have a solid franchise, you have a solid ownership, and the ownership believes in you. Maybe players can stick around for a little longer. Maybe players can get comfortable, and start playing football, right? So like we had John Brody there for a good period of time, and he had some success, and we made it to the NFC Championship game. We lost to the Cowboys, but if it wasn't for these ladies right here, these ladies right here are the ladies of the Empire. But if it wasn't for the two ladies on the left and right, mainly this lady right here, this is our owner. And without having somebody like this, and her name is Josephine Jane Marabito, and both ladies, Josephine and Jane, and without having an organization where you can say, hey, we care about these ladies, or these ladies showing respect. And again, I don't know these ladies personally, but the founders and the fans and the team said they loved them. The players said they loved these ladies. But we got to a point of success with these ladies, and they held the team together until 1977. In 1977, the ownership changed, and Eddie D, right here, was the man who came in, and he took over. But what's sad, okay, and you guys know, again, things wouldn't be in numbers.
Mhm.
Her birthday was October 30th, 1910. She died August 24th, 1995.
Mhm.
August 24th again, guys. It's my birthday. So this lady, she held the team together until the 70s, until 1977, and in 1995, after seeing the Niners win 4 Super Bowls, and the 95 season, 94 season, I believe in 1995 that would have been our 5th Super Bowl, depending on the month of the calendar. I get that confused because it's a 94 season, but we went to the Super Bowl in 1995. So she should have seen the 5th Super Bowl. And she passed away.
That's correct.
Yep. So, rest in peace. And, thank you very much for everything you did for the Niners. So we'll go back here to Eddie D. David, Corey, do you guys have a little bit more insight? Can you guys explain to me? I've read it a lot about Eddie D and how he lost the team, but do you guys have any more insight, or do you guys have maybe a spin or an opinion that you could tell me on your thoughts of Eddie D and what happened with him and the transition of him losing the team?
I know a little bit that he lost it because he was gambling on New Orleans ship.
Yep.
And I think really NFL was after him because he believed in paying his players and treating them right. He's one of them good guys. He always flew his players first class, won away games. And so I think the NFL, was piggybacking. Say, hey, we're going to pay him.
Yeah, Corey's spitting facts. Corey's spitting facts. We had one of the better owners in the NFL, and all the other owners were like, they weren't doing the same things he was. They weren't taking care of the players, and we had that Youngstown or Yorkstown facility back east. Whenever they go back east, the whole team would be able to hang out there, and he took really good care of the players, and that's something that back in the day the owners weren't doing. So he, again, a 49ers owner at the forefront, ahead of his time. That's Eddie D.
Yep.
But how he lost the team, the whole gambling on, I think it was one of those river boats he was on, and in New Orleans, and it was involved with some sort of mob or mafia, however you want to say it. So and the NFL didn't like that, but honestly, I do think that they were after him because because he wasn't like the rest of the owners, because the rest of the owners treated the players like employees. He treated them like family.
I'm gonna bring John in real quick. Hey, John.
What's up, everybody? I woke up late today. Sorry I'm late.
No worries, no worries. So we are talking today about like the owners, the franchise, the founders, and our beloved team, John. And no worries, if you show up, late, or hey, we're glad you made it, live and kicking, or we're just glad you're here. Sometimes you need to get a little bit of coffee or energy juice, or shout out to Pedialyte. If you've seen, you know. But yeah, so we were talking about, we'll clip through real quick. Our original owner, Tony Morabito, he passed away during a 49er game. Really sad. The Niners rallied back to win the game. And then very sad. Very, very sad. And then his wife, beloved wife, took over the team. She passed away on my birthday. Very sad. And then through everything that happened, Eddie took the team. Do you have a little insight? Do you want to give a little bit of knowledge or, just opinions really about what happened with Eddie, David, and Corey? We were talking. Eddie got in trouble. He was on a riverboat. We do believe there was some mafia ties there, and we also believe the NFL was out to get him. So would you like to give us your insight on that?
So I actually know a lot about the Eddie DeBarlo, situation. So his family, they're out. Oh, my bad. Eddie DeBarlo's family, his father, senior, had a bunch of sports organizations, casinos. So that's where they got their money from. So when they bought the team, they expanded the Barlow Corporation, which a lot of people don't know. So during the situation, he was trying to open up a casino in the state of California. It's hard to get a casino. Too many rules. So he was told by a friend to go to Louisiana. You can do a casino. The governor had his reservations, and so they did some stuff. Got him in trouble. Again, all this is just he said, she said. But at the end of the day, he got in trouble. The NFL did not like that, and they suspended him. And then the NFL made a decision, and they gave over the team. They signed all the things to his sister. So for whatever the situation was, a lot of people say, oh, but for those who knew the DeBarlo family personally, there was always a lot of allegedly, a lot of, that they have, ties to, mobs and stuff. But overall, they were just trying to expand their corporation because DeBarlo Sr., had ownership of the Penguins and other minor league sports franchises in the Northeast, East Coast area. So if they had ties, is what it is. But at the end of the day, yeah, that's a bit of a backstory of the DeBarlo situation.
Interesting. Yeah, Eddie D, great coach, great owner. Coach. I think you kind of have to be a coach to be an owner. You have to kind of have an idea. Maybe you're not coaching the team, but you're coaching that coach. You're making sure he's doing everything he's doing. You're telling the facility, you're the boss. If they're not doing what you tell them to do, they got to go. So, and yeah, if you got some ties and stuff like that to different things and they can help you in certain areas, then, if you look at it as cheating, okay, but if it's going to help you win and you don't try it, then are you really trying? I mean, I'm not for people cheating, but if you're going to get an advantage because you changed the size of your cleats, and you guys know about 3-compar candlestick, we had a soggy field. So the Niners cleats, we had longer studs. The other teams would come in, they'd be slipping and sliding, not the Niners, because we knew where the water set at and we knew, so shout out to home field advantages and all those. You ever play in a football field and you know where the gopher holes are at? You don't run that way. So, all right, we're going to move on to the next picture we got, and we're going to move down to the ladies. So, yes, after Eddie DeBartolo ended up having to turn over the team, he turned over the team to Denise, his sister, and she's currently the owner. She's currently running the operations, but this is Josephine and Jane here on the left and right. And, those are the ladies that held it down from, I want to say 1957 to 1977. These are our ladies. And then sadly, not sadly, there's always a transition, but Denise needed help because when she was running the team, she was just in Ohio. So her and John, the doctor, Mr. York, they've done a lot of changes for the Niners. They've gotten us out of San Francisco. I don't think it's a good idea, but oddly enough, we went to Santa Clara where we have a lot of roots. and they got us a new stadium. They've gotten us to 2 Super Bowls since the last one. We haven't been able to win it, but we got to it, right? I don't know if I feel like it's better to get there and not win it, or, because at least we got there, right? So I've seen 2 Super Bowl losses under this new ownership. They've passed it over to their son, Jed. And he's not the official owner. He's the one in charge currently until we lose like 2 games, right? If we lose like 2 games in a row, like Ryan said last night, then we see Mr. Jed, right? Mr. John, the doctor. That's when we turn off the music during camp and everything, and everybody gets all serious and we actually get back to winning. So I don't know if John needs to come out more often or what's going on, but Jed's been able to steer us into the right direction, I guess. We had a total rebuild situation, maybe an explosion in the office. There were some people that he didn't like, and there's some people he did like, and now those people aren't here anymore. And we have a totally new team, totally new coaching staff and everything. So we're moving forward, right? We are progressing, going in the right direction. But the one thing that we haven't been able to get to is a quarterback. And it's been since Jeff Garcia. Really, it's been since Steve Young, because no one was really sold on Jeff Garcia. Everybody can sit back and say he was Pro Bowler, he did this and that. But even his teammates during the team said, he didn't have the biggest arm, or he just wasn't the biggest guy, or he just was weird. He's not on our team anymore. And, I like Jeff Garcia, but he wasn't the guy that got us to the top. I think he had that one signature playoff win against the Giants, and I think that was it. And, honestly, we're all Niner fans, but we got lucky in that game. They pulled Jeremy Shockey down, I think it was, and they threw the flag and picked up the flag, and then we go and win the game on, I think, a field goal. So correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but that was a great playoff game. And
yeah,
but
I make fun of YTC that they blew a 24-point lead, and Giants fans can blame, the holding at the end of the game, but apparently the rule then was an offensive line player cannot run down the field during a field goal attempt. So it's weird. So that's why we won.
Yeah, there was 2 fouls on 2 penalties, and they said it was coming back, so we got an opportunity. And hey, I'll take it. But after that, Jeff Garcia didn't do much for the Niners. We got smacked by Tampa Bay, and then it was over for that. I thought it was really cool because we had an opportunity to play the Raiders in the Super Bowl, but that didn't happen. It wasn't meant to be that.
I know, like that. Like when I was a kid, I was watching that game. I was so angry, saying, come on, Niners. And then I forgot, as year passed by, that was the Tampa defense that destroyed us. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, Jeff Garcia only won 1 game, but we played against the Tampa defense, and we all saw that Super Bowl against the Raiders. The defense murdered the Raiders.
Yeah. But did they murder the Raiders, or did they murder the playbook? Because the Raiders went in there with the same offense that they had with John Gruden. Then Bill Cowher changed the play style and the offensive the whole game. He changed it like the night before the game, or 2 days before the game started, and then the center got crazy. And he went out on like a binge and broke down. Yeah, I think he's bipolar. So he totally crippled the Raiders. I totally believe Bill Cowher did it to the Raiders. I feel so bad for Jerry Rice and Tim Brown. I didn't want to see Jerry Rice win a Super Bowl with the Raiders, but he didn't deserve to lose it like that. And, Charlie Gardner was on that team, and Rich Gannon. The Raiders were a good team that year. They were the number 1 offense, I believe, that year. And just horrible the way it happened. And the Raiders had some really good teams those years too. They were they lost to the Baltimore Ravens that one year. Tony Siragusa broke Rich Gannon's ribs. How do you sack somebody? You're on top of them, and then you punch the guy in between his shoulder pads, and you don't get a foul. I mean, like that. How's that happen? So. Yeah, the Ravens went on to win that Super Bowl. So what could have been for the Raiders. But since then, they've been really in a black hole. But we're going to get back to us. This is the logos for our team. This was the first logo in 1946 to 1967. And people, if you've seen our helmets, we had silver helmets the first year. And some people joke. But if you go back to our coach, Chuck Shaw, they called him the Silver Fox. And they kind of goof around and say, well, that's why they had silver helmet. But we changed those very quickly. In 1968 to 1988, the emblem stayed relatively the same. 1989, 1995, they changed the color of the red. It just got a little darker, but it's the same. And then 1996, that's when they added the gold emblem, the gold ring that went around it. I think the font of the S and the F are in a little different of a direction. I could be wrong. Because if you look at the 2009, it looks very similar, but it's got to be just what the color of the red, and maybe am I seeing something different, guys? Is the S and the F in 1996 to 2008 maybe fatter and crooked a little bit, or I don't know. I wear glasses. What do you think, Corey? What's different with 2009 and 2008? It's got to be the color, huh? Like the burgundy?
Yeah.
The red? What do you think, John?
Yeah, basically the 09 to now, the background is more darker. Even though when you look at the 89 and 95, that's more darker than the 96 to 98. The reason why I can see that is because when you look at the color schemes, the reds, all four of them go from a very bright dark to a dark to a much brighter dark, and then a very maroon type of color in the recent logo.
Yeah, it looks more vibrant, most definitely. So, all right, guys, I love it. I really do. I think this is an awesome show. Let's go ahead and let's talk. Let's get to what we're talking about. So the owners, what do the owners need to do to put us in position to win a Super Bowl? We've gotten to the NFC Championship like 3 times in the last 4 years. Is it coaching? Is it lack of ownership? Or is it our players that we're blaming? Or are we cursed right now? Your thoughts, John?
I don't really think I don't really think Jed York is the problem. I think he has really set up the team with, Kyle Shanahan, who's a great play caller, and John Lynch, who's very intelligent when it comes to defense. And the proof is on the field. Now, just because I said that doesn't mean I'm a fan of the Yorks. Everyone knows I'm not a fan of the Yorks. I don't think it's coaching. I don't think it's our defensive coaches. I don't think it's our players. I just think that the Niners have been so unlucky. In 2018, our quarterback is out technically for the season. And then in 2020, our quarterback is technically out for more than half the season. And then just what happened in the championship game, like our quarterbacks just get hurt for no reason. Even Trey Lance, got hurt. So I don't think it's Jed York. I think he has the foundation. Now it's Kyle and the team to put it all together, because everyone says, everyone says, even other football fans that I speak to, you guys have a Super Bowl team, John. Your quarterback is never healthy. So I don't think it's, Jed York. I don't think it's Kyle. I don't think it's a team. I just think the quarterback just gets hurt for some reason.
I want to hear everybody's thoughts, and then I'm going to ask you guys something. David, let's hear what you got. Are we cursed? Is there something against the Niners? Is the league holding us back? Is it players? Is it lack of ownership, credibility? Or what's your thoughts? What do we need to win with this current regime?
Well, I think right now all we need is a quarterback, but that should play itself out because we do have two great options. But when it comes down to it, I'm convinced that Roger Goodell has something against us, you know. And I did do some research and I found pictures of him when he was a kid in a Cincinnati Bengals uniform. A couple different ones. So, and if you do the research now, it's extra hard to find those. It's kind of like he had some stuff removed because he didn't want people looking at it, you know. But I've been convinced that Roger Goodell has something against us. And when it comes down to it, we can't let the refs decide the game. We got to be better than that. We got to make our plays and we have to win it.
Corey, what do you think we need? What do you think the organization, the ownership needs to do? Do they need to be more involved? Do they need to, set back, let the players play? Do you think the league's holding us back?
I I think it's just bad luck. We just having some bad luck every time. It's always our quarterback getting hurt or something always bad happening. Like in our Super Bowl against Kansas City, all of a sudden we were winning. All of a sudden we're not getting the penalties that we should got in that game. Penalties. So it might be the league against us. I think they sometimes choose who they want to really to win. Against the Baltimore Ravens. Like, I think because they wanted it, the linebacker
Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis, to go out with a retirement. So they said, let's help him win. I think it's both. A little bad luck and a little some NFL got against us.
I agree, and I'm glad you made that point because that's what I wanted to allude to. I kind of feel like the NFL, the refs, maybe, the refs can't. You can't let the refs determine the game. You have to go out there and play the game. But the refs can stop the play on every down. They can throw a penalty if they want every down. I think it was our first play of the NFC Super Bowl, the Super Bowl against the Ravens. It was our first play. We got a penalty for lining up in the wrong formation. Kaepernick and I think it was Joe Staley who got the penalty. I could be wrong, but that set us back. And then the Ravens scored fast on us and kept scoring on us. And then we throw an interception. Randy Moss pulled his hands down. And then later on, we had an opportunity to win the game. And, they threw the ball to Crabtree 4 times. You don't do that, but they did it 4 times. And there was pass interference on 3 out of 4 of those. There was 4 out of 4 pass interferences, but we won't get on that. But the 4th down, when Ed Reed's over the line of scrimmage, clearly on the 49ers side, and they don't throw a flag for that, that should have been first down, first and goal, right there on the 1. We should have had 4 more tries. But no, they let the play go. And I'm just sour, right? Because I'm a homer, right? No, my name's Brian, and I'm a 49er faithful, and I want to see the Niners win. But I can clearly be objective, and I can sit back and say, hey, that's a penalty. You guys have all heard me say about the Packer-Niner game, the catch 2. Jerry Rice fumbled. I'm not proud of saying that. You guys all just got in here and me say about the Giants in the 49ers playoff game. That was a weird penalty. That was a very weird penalty. We got lucky. Sometimes you get lucky. We don't want to win like that. We want to be dominant. We want to win, in fashion. We want to be like the red and gold. And I think the Niners have been being held back in some of these recent Super Bowls. The Ravens game, that's clearly a good example. Then the NFC Championship, the 2014 NFC Championship game against the Seahawks. There's so many penalties in that game. I'm going to find it. I'm going to clip it, but they keep taking it down. There's like a 45-minute NFL rigged. It's the Seahawks and 49ers NFC Championship 2014. Type it in rigged, and they'll show you. They keep taking it down, but they repost it. all these different penalties that happened to the game. The delay of game. We got delay of game within 40 seconds. Russell Wilson goes over 60 seconds and he doesn't get a delay of game. I can't make this stuff up. The announcers are saying it. There's no penalties. So, and then we get to the championship, the Super Bowl with the Chiefs. Bosa was being held. There was hands to the face. There were so many different calls. You know, sure, Jimmy threw his eyes, you know, closed his eyes through the interception. You know, we can't say anything, you know, that happened. But there was just too many times that we're like, what about the tight end in the beginning of the game with Kittle? The hands to the face or the pass interference, he pushed off. If we would have got a field goal right there, or maybe we would have scored a touchdown and went into the half, you know, like, so I think the league's been holding us back because we are very close to winning a Super Bowl and becoming a dynasty like we were again. I think the way the things happened with Tom Brady, the Tuck rule with the Raiders, because they were holding the Raiders back. The Raiders were a good team from like 1999 to 2003. They were a good team there. The Niners, you know, we lost our team right there. We lost our whole organization. You know, Eddie got tore up. He got removed from us being our owner. We went to the Dennis Eckerson era. We went to the Nolan. We went without a quarterback. And now we're still, you know, like 2 Super Bowl appearances. We're still looking for a quarterback. So I would like to see the ownership take a little bit more charge and say, we're not going to put up with the league. We're going to be more vocal. We are not going to side with everybody. I don't care about winning, you know, making a bunch of money. I want to win. I want the 49ers to win. So it's like we hear all the time that they're making these deals or he's persuaded to side with the league on some of these NFL ownership meetings. And if that's the way it's going to go, okay, side with him, you know, sure. I see it's like politics, right? Many blood-sucking insects. These owners have to agree to have their rules, and it's their club. We're just watching their product out there on the field, right? But if these owners stand up to each other and they say, no, you're not gonna screw me in the Super Bowl. That was pass interference. That was, you know, hands to the face. And it's not going to happen. Then, like, rule changes will happen. The instant replay and stuff will happen. I don't understand why we're only getting 2 instant replays. And if you win both of them, then you get a third one. Instant replay should be something executed from the New York. They should say, no, go back and review that. But when you're running the play faster than they can say that they can review it, I don't know. I just don't buy it. I think there's just too many things that's intangibles that are holding the Niners back. You got like the Cowboys, they've been to like 10 Super Bowls. You got the Patriots now, they've been to 10, something like that. It's just the Niners are that good of a team, and we've always been that good of a team. And it seems like we've built our team from the ground up. You know, we had to tell the league, we're willing to come play you. So shout out to our owner who was like saying, if you guys need us to get on a plane, we will come to you. And that's where we are. We're the 49ers. We will go anywhere to play anyone. And if you want to come play us, come on out. We're ready. So, guys, man, super appreciate you guys coming in. Do you have any final thoughts before we end our coffee show?
You pointed it out. We got to win us the Super Bowl.
Yep.
You know, and with a team this good, you know, not having one right now, that's been quite the waste, in my opinion. You know, making the NFC Championship game is not good enough.
No, it's not.
Yep.
That's not what we don't hang the NFC Championship banners. We host Super Bowls, Lombardis. That's what we do.
Yep, and I know, like in that box, like you talking about, like that kickoff return, people was holding, the other team was holding, Raven was holding, and you could see it, but the referees act like they couldn't see nothing, and I saw that video. Rick, and they even showed the Kansas City show how a lot of penalties that wasn't called that would have been called if it was Tom Brady getting hit like that.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Tom Brady, how many rules can we cheer Tom to and congratulate you? Thank you, Tom. You got the knee rule. Now we can't hit quarterbacks lower than their waist. It's like you got to hit him right here and if you hit him wrong and lay on him, because again, how many rules did Tom Brady account for? He's got the tuck rule. He's got the knee. Is he accountable for the quarterbacks? Like, you can't like put your body weight on him. You have to kind of you got to lightly hit him. You got to tackle him, but tag him. Like now you can't like pile drive a player. You can't. I don't know, man. I think we're going to flag football, guys. I hate.
I know. I joke around about it, but like there was this discussion. Luckily, the NFL saw the the error. If you take away the sack and basically you let the quarterback just stay back there for like 10 seconds and you can't go after him, then what are you playing? So you do have to be allowed people to hit the quarterback. Of course, player safety. I get it. Okay, everyone's had the arguments, the pros and cons for it. But at the end of the day, let the players play football. Enough with these dumb rules that make the game more dangerous. Because every time they try to make the game more safer, the game becomes more dangerous. So let them play football. You know. So and also I read the rule, the official bylaw of the new kickoff. It makes no damn sense. Makes no damn sense.
No, they should have just left it the way it was. Originally, if you fair catch it and you fair catch it at the 18, the offense marches out at the 18. That's why they established it. If you don't want to get hit, then fair catch it. You have to catch the ball. If you drop the ball or the ball is on the ground live without you touching it on a kickoff after a touchdown scored, after the game starts or after halftime, that's kickoff. The ball can be turned over to the other team. They can be recovered. But now they're like almost eliminating that concept because they're saying, okay, you just catch it, put it at the 25. You can catch it at the 1, you can catch it anywhere, put it at the 25. Okay. Now the question or the rule still says if you run over there and you pick up the ball and you down it, you can get it right there where you downed it at. I don't think if they down it, they'll get it to the 25. But if they catch it, if they wave it off and say, we're going to fair catch it, then they go to the 25. I don't have a problem with you doing that in the end zone. Again, you can down it. You can, fair catch it in the end zone. But when you're on the field, you're on the field. You know what I mean? Like that's where a player could come up and hit you or scare you and you drop the ball real quick and then, we can recover it. They are saying all the concussions, everything, all the players, your concussions are coming from kickoff. Not from punts, not from anything else during the game. It's only from kickoffs. So after this year's up and the data comes out and they can say, oh, well, we still have this high amount of concussions, that's when they're going to change football. And it's going to suck because that's when they're going to say that these players are getting hurt and it's not just kickoff. They're getting hurt all over the field. Will they go back at that point and change kickoff back to what it is? I really doubt it. But they will actually have the facts. And I'm remember, cut it, clip it. They will find out that they have just as many concussions as they currently have with the kickoff changing because concussions are happening anytime during the game. They're happening all over. They are happening and people aren't coming off the field and saying, I have a concussion because they're afraid to lose their job. So, I mean, some players are like, hey, no, this is too much for me. I don't want to play. I like Chris Borland. Hey, shout out to you. You walked away from the game. Andrew Luck, you walked away from the game. You might have been able to still play, but, I respect that. You want to play with your grandkids and be able to, move around and not be in a wheelchair. Great. A lot of people don't have that option. Some people's careers aren't going to be able to be changed like that. There's welders out there. There's all kinds of people, like you start welding, you can lose your eyesight. But you got to do it, right? If you don't have to, you can get a different career. But if you have an opportunity or something, your health is affecting you, then maybe you should move to a different career.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's what you got to do, then okay. But that's their choice. You know, like you can retire being a police officer, a firefighter. All these things are people's choices. So I'm really excited to see what the data is going to come out next year after the season. And they can say that players are still getting concussions. I'm not for concussions. I don't want to see players get concussions, but I can't sit here and tell you that they are only happening on kickoff. And for you only to change kickoff, no.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
guys, thanks for coming. Let's hear everybody. David, let's start with you real quick. What you got going on for today? And we'll go to Corey and John, and we'll drop the dad joke, and we'll see everybody hopefully tomorrow.
Well, I gotta go touch up a door because the movers can't move anything without scratching something.
Mhm.
But beyond that, the rest of the day is pretty open at this point. Of course, we got the Coffee Talk show tomorrow, and the Corey Davis Award show for the trivia, and then Monday we got Dina Harvey coming on. I'm looking forward to that one.
Oh yeah, she's gonna be fun. She's gonna be a lot of fun. Just for fun, I threw the banner down below. It's our seasons. We've had 78 seasons. We were established in 1946, 2003. Our win-loss tie record: 612, 510, and 16 ties. And we are 37-24 in the playoffs and the Super Bowl. We are 5-2. Corey, what you got going on? I know you got a show tonight, huh?
Yep, I got a show tonight. Interview with David M. Clark, a Cleveland Browns fan.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming tonight to be on my show to interview him on, talk to him about the Cleveland Browns, the news and rumors of Cleveland Browns. See how he feels about the new kickoff rules and all that stuff. And then Sunday in the morning with you, and then the afternoon, the 49 results show, trivia show for week 13. Excuse me, week 12, chapter 13. And we got that. And Monday, watch you and Dina and David. So hopefully I'm out of Dallas on time to see it.
Yeah, no worries. We'll go for about an hour, and we're gonna have fun, and then we'll talk to you here soon about our part 2 and part 3 coming up soon on the Ultimate Niner roster. John, what do you got going on? I heard something about you last night saying maybe a show today.
Yeah. So, of course, thanks for having me on. As always, it's always good to be on this great panel. Corey, McNiner, yourself. Like I said, I woke up late, so I'm still out of it. So tomorrow, I basically moved it for tomorrow. Gonna do probably like a fan show. Want to know what they want to talk about. That's what I'm gonna do tomorrow. Probably about an hour. It'll be just by myself, so no one calls in. For anyone who wants to pop in, it's just me. Taking your questions. And then probably next week I'll be able to figure out my schedule. So I'm going to take one more week off because I'm working, but probably I'll be able to do shows again starting next week. So just stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit the notification bell to see what's going on. And as we get closer and closer to training camp, I'll be back. We're getting closer and closer. I think Joe said we're less than 100 days from the start of the season, so that's always good news. So thanks for having me on.
Yeah, definitely have fun. I'll always have fun. So I'm gonna drop my dad joke, and then we're gonna go ahead and end the show. Thank you all for coming. We really appreciate you. David McNiner, Corey Davis, John Jay. We all have shows. We all have different days of the week that we get together and we do things. So if you like what you heard, we'd like to hear you again, see you again in the chat. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends and family if they're 49ers or football fans or just people who want to watch a cool show. So I'm going to drop my dad joke. And guys, afterwards, don't go too far. I want to ask you a question offline, but appreciate you all coming. And, hey, shout out to the 49ers and to the ladies of the Empire, to the ladies, our ownership, being able to support the team and keep a team together for as long as they were and helping the direction of the team. Because I think without, Josephine, I really believe without her, the Eddie DeBartolo situation would have been a lot harder for him to, rebuild. We got that close. We got that close. So here's the dad joke, and we're dropping out, guys. You guys have a great day. So real quick, thanks again for sticking around. Here's my dad joke. My friend was showing me his tool shed and pointed to a ladder. That's my step ladder. He said, I never knew my real ladder.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's one of those fun things. It's like shout out to the step ladders, and the real ladders out there, just funny, punny. But, hey, thanks again. Appreciate you guys coming. It's always fun to have coffee with you. And we'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow. And with that, guys, we are out. Go Niners.
Go Niners.
Niners.
F the Rams.